doesn't so much recognize me as an individual, but it recognizes a body of work and a body of work by many, many people, because that is the way the elder community works in this state. And it's frankly, in my experience, what makes it different from a lot of other states in this country. Every victory that we have achieved in this state has multiple fingerprints all over it. And it's how we get things done. And a good example is what happened yesterday on Beacon Hill when we finally managed to pry loose those FMAP funds that have been sitting there unused. And hopefully the governor will sign that legislation, Sandy. And those funds will very soon go to getting people off of home care wait lists and will be used for increasing protective services and restoring councils on aging services. You know, I look out in this room today and I see so many people who have been my mentors and have been an inspiration to me, people who I've worked with over the years. And sometimes, frankly, we're one big happy family, and sometimes, frankly, we're one big dysfunctional family. But no matter what happens, at some point or another, we all end up back at the same table, and that's why we get things done in this state. I know it's dangerous in a situation like this to name names, because you always forget some names, and if you're someone like me who has no distance vision, I'm looking out at this room, and you know, about halfway back, you turn into a blur. So forgive me, but there are some names I absolutely have to mention. First and foremost, my staff, most of who are here today. There are so few of them, I am going to mention their names. Chanel Antunes, Jen Beam, Kara Cohen, Jessica Costantino, Rhiannon D'Angelo, Christy Hall, Shannon Satterwhite, Jay Shemensky, and Chris Widello. They all make me look good on a daily basis, and I'm very, very grateful to them. There's also a couple of our AARP volunteer leaders here today that I'd like to recognize. Our state president, Linda Fitzgerald, is here. Executive council members Louise Myers and Claire Redmond, and former executive council member and good friend Judy Goggin. I'm very grateful for them for coming. I also want to recognize my dad is here with me, Jim Banda. He turns 89 in about a month or so. He's sitting right here in the front row. He has taught me more about aging with dignity and independence than any advocate or policy wonk or elected official ever could. He terrifies my brothers and I on a routine basis by insisting on still stacking a cord of wood every fall and mowing his own lawn and vacuuming his own swimming pool. He had an almost deadly encounter last week with a very large mocha fribble. But you know, there are some risks that are just worth taking in life. And he doesn't drink red wine, but it's amazing what one mocha fribble will do to your blood sugar count. But my dad has been an inspiration to me, and I think he and Elsie would have gotten along splendidly. I know we're running a little bit late, but we've got a captive audience here, so I do feel like I need to be an advocate rather than just thank a lot of people. We know that this economic crisis has hit older Americans very hard. It's hit everyone of all ages very hard, but for an older person, the economic problems couldn't come at a worse time. We're still seeing a lot of devastating cuts to critical programs and services. We know the next state budget cycle isn't going to get any better. We just got word that there will, for the second year in a row, likely not be a Social Security cost of living. In about just 3 weeks from now, Massachusetts will elect our next governor. We've got contested races for seats in the state legislature at a level or number that many of us have frankly not seen in decades. We will definitely have a new congressman in the 10th Congressional District and possibly in other districts. There is a whole lot of campaigning going on right now, but what really isn't being talked about is the profound impact of the aging of our society. Aging issues must be front and center in the final weeks of this campaign, and we have a responsibility as advocates and providers to challenge the candidates What are they going to do to help make our communities more livable for an aging population, to achieve some of the changes Joe was just talking about? What are they going to do to protect Social Security? What are they going to do to help people remain in their own homes as they age and have transportation alternatives when driving is no longer wise? These are just a few of the questions we should be asking. 1 week from today, AARP is going to be hosting a gubernatorial forum at Faneuil Hall with all 4 candidates for governor. It is the only major event of this election season that is going to focus on aging issues. And it is imperative that the elder community turn out in force for this event to send a loud and clear message that we're here, that we're not shy, and that we expect strong leadership on aging issues. So please help us fill Faneuil Hall a week from today. Please register for the event. There are flyers up at the back of the room. Help us send a clear message to the candidates that their